President Muhammadu Buhari explains reasons for 2019 declaration. Federal government saves billions of dollars from ban on rice import. Court restrains Lagos and Ogun governments from banning lottery operators. And in sports, last 4 teams to UEFA Champions League decided. These and many more stories on television Nigerian. I am Nten Ekpan. President Muhammadu Buhari has explained reasons for his recent declaration of interest to contest the 2019 presidential elections. The president gave the reasons while receiving the Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby, in London. The president said it was necessary for him to make his intention known, as many Nigerians were waiting to know his plans towards the polls. According to the president, I declared before leaving home because Nigerians were talking too much about whether I would run or not. So I felt I should break the ice. We have many things to focus on, like security, agriculture, economy, anti-corruption, and many others. End of quote. He further said that his administration has a lot to focus on and that his declaration will help government to concentrate on the issues at hand rather than being distracted by politics. The president's conversation, which was contained in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, also recounted some successes of the administration. In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari says the federal government has cut the importation of rice by 90%, saving the country billions of dollars in the process. The president disclosed this during an interaction with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby. President Buhari said that the move by the government is attracting professionals and others into the sector, with the country being able to feed itself. On the war against insurgency, President Buhari said there is the need for continuous education of the people. He expressed optimism that continuous education will further free Nigerians from religious manipulations and killing of the innocent. President Buhari had officially declared his intention to seek re-election on Monday, April 9, during the National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. A federal high court in Lagos has restrained the Lagos and Ogun state governments from disrupting the business of lottery companies. Justice MUHAMMADU held that it will be illegal to shut down lottery businesses on the basis that they have not obtained additional licenses from the 2 states after having been earlier licensed by the federal government. He also restrained the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioners of Police in Lagos and Ogun states, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, plus the Department of State Services, from arresting lottery operators or sealing up their offices on the basis that they have no state licenses. The plaintiffs, Western Lotto Nigeria Limited and Westco Pools and Lottery Limited, had asked the court to determine whether the defendants can close down their businesses for not obtaining licenses from the state. In his judgment, Justice Idris dismissed the defendants' objections and forbade the security agencies from closing the business premises of the plaintiff. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has raised alarm over what it described as plans by the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to use state apparatus to coerce oppositions. The party, in a statement, says the APC has begun an onslaught on its leaders with the hope of forcing President Muhammadu Buhari on the country. The statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Kola Ologundiyan, disclosed that the APC plots to frame up and humiliate the Deputy President of the Senate, MUHAMMADU, and governors of the PDP. The opposition party further alleged that a special presidential committee has been put in place by the federal government to prosecute its leaders. Also on the news, Federal Inland Revenue Service partners EFCC. And last 4 teams in this year's European Champions League decided. Nigerian female boxer to the Commonwealth Games hospitalized. United States says all options are on the table in response to Syrian chemical attack. Don't go away.
Nigerians have tested political parties, religion and age. It is time to get a bridge builder to heal the wounds. Hassan Dan Kwambo. Under your watch as Executive Governor of Gombe State, you have been able to manage the state's resources in view of the numerous projects so far completed and the low statutory federal allocations accruable to the state. With your landmark achievements in healthcare, youth employment, women empowerment, road infrastructure, pipe-borne water, security, education, and agricultural development, we are sure of a better Nigeria. 2019 is not about power or change, but rather it is about Dan Kwambo to replicate his humility and servant leadership. Dan Kwambo, Nigeria. Nigeria, Dan Kwambo.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria. Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. Extracurricular activities. An all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child. Comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence. Thanks for staying tuned. The Federal Inland Revenue Service is partnering the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in a bid to arrest and prosecute tax defaulters. A statement from the anti-graft agency says that the partnership targets taxpayers who evaded the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme. The executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fowler, who led the delegation to the EFCC head office in Abuja, commended the EFCC's role, particularly in the recovery of 28 billion naira from various tax defaulters across the country. Fowler explained that through the intervention of the EFCC, the agency has seen a high level of tax compliance with attendant positive results. In sports, the last 4 clubs in this year's Champions League have been decided. 4 of the top 5 European leagues provided a team each in the semi-finals. Liverpool will represent England after they defeated another Premier League side, Manchester City, home and away. Jurgen Klopp's men demolished Man City 3-0 at Anfield before coming from behind to win 2-1 at the Etihad. In the Bundesliga, champions Bayern Munich are in the last 4 after a 1 aggregate win over Sevilla. Bayern beat the Spanish side on their turf last week and could only manage a 0-0 draw at the Allianz Arena on Wednesday. Roma represents Italy in the semi-finals. The Serie A club pulled off one of the most memorable comebacks in the Champions League to dump Barcelona out of the competition. After losing 4-1 at the Nou Camp, they crushed an attacking Barcelona side 3-0 in Rome on Tuesday to book a place in the semis. The last team is Real Madrid. Zinedine Zidane's men are still on course to win it for the third consecutive year after they squeezed past Juventus. Real won the first leg 3-0 in Turin, but needed elite Cristiano Ronaldo's penalty at home to advance on a 4-3 aggregate. The semi-final games will be played on April 24 and 25, with second leg ties coming up May 1st and 2nd. From the foreign scene, the US says all options are on the table in response to a suspected chemical weapons attack in Syria as Western leaders continue to weigh up military action. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders said the final decision on military strikes had not been taken, but she said the United States holds Russia and Syria responsible for the incident. The US National Security Council is to meet today, while UK Prime Minister Theresa May has called a cabinet meeting. Activists, rescue workers and medics say dozens of people died in the formerly rebel-held town of Douma on Saturday. But President Bashar al-Assad's government and his ally Russia deny being behind any chemical attack. Tens of thousands of people are said to have left Douma through a humanitarian corridor. And that's the PM News on Television Nigeria. But just before we go, let's look at some of the stories that made headlines. President MUHAMMADU Buhari explains reasons for 2019 declaration. Federal government saves billions of dollars from ban on rice import. Court restrains Lagos and Ogun governments from banning lottery operators. And in sports, the last 4 teams to UEFA Champions League have been decided. Remember, appeal to reason, not to emotions, and bear in mind that shouting makes no sensible point among enlightened minds. I am Inten. Thanks for watching, and do have a brilliant Thursday ahead of you.